All right. Welcome everyone to Social Media Breakfast. That's why we're all here. A little bit about us. We are a nonprofit organization focused on education and networking. Our education focuses mostly on social media and digital marketing. We meet every third Wednesday of the month here at Tree Bank. And we also live stream on our Facebook and LinkedIn pages. Who all here is a first-time attendee of Social Media Breakfast? Awesome, thank you for joining us. We hope that you make it a regular part of your routine. You might also notice quite a few board members here today. We are a board-run organization, and we are always looking for folks who are interested in volunteering or becoming a part of our board. So if that's something you're interested in, you can find any one of us, ask us questions, learn more about what that entails. Speaking of, we have two board members that are now officially a part of the board. Addison, who was not here last month, so we wanted to call her out again. Addison, where are you? Oh, she's awesome. She's been a long-time SMB attendee, and we are so glad to have her be a part of our board. She's going to be running our socials and helping a lot with expertise. And then we'd also like to welcome Joe to our board. Joe, she's second. Joe has been our recap and blog writer for the last few months, and we have really enjoyed his expertise there and are so glad he's helping us out with the board now. He has his own marketing agency, Cross Marketing Solutions, and will bring a lot of really great expertise to help move our organization forward. Now, let's see about we have a nonprofit table in the back, Gilda's Club. So if you haven't said hello yet, please make your way to say hello afterwards and learn more. Gilda's Club Madison provides free emotional support to cancer and home to children and adults impacted by any kind of cancer. And they are also on the lookout for new members for their PR and marketing committee, which meets by Zoom over lunch every other month. There might be some questions you can ask the folks in the back. I'm sure they have some information. And they also have a giveaway at their table that we're going to draw for at the end. So if you haven't put your name or your business card into that, you can win some good stuff. So I'll give you the path to seek out if you need to put your name in that box. Big thank you to all of our sponsors listed here. We could not do this without their help. And one of the sponsors is DreamX, so I'm going to give it over to Andy. We'll say a few words.
Good morning, everyone. I've had the pleasure of chatting with many of you, but for those of you who I haven't seen you for a work at DreamX, before I go ahead and chat a little bit about DreamX, I want to give another special shout out to Gilda's Club. If you haven't chatted with them, I highly recommend it. The work they do is phenomenal. First-hand user services, the impact in this community is very much felt and needed. So shout out to Gilda's. Welcome to DreamX. So for the first time, we're so excited to have you here today. A little bit of context, kind of where you are. We are what we do and why we exist. So DreamX is put on by American Family Insurance, and everything we do here is meant to ladder towards the inspiration and pursuit of dreams, in large part by helping to remove obstacles and barriers for individuals. So that shapes out a handful of ways, but I'd say the largest one is the events we host. So it goes anywhere between 6 to 15 free events a month, all through the lens of personal and professional development. One event I want to highlight in particular is this upcoming Entrepreneur Networking Breakfast. I set all of these postcards out on your seat, and I'm really excited about this event for a handful of reasons. But it's a similar framework to kind of how Social Media Breakfast Madison is run. So it's 8:30 to 10:30 on Thursday, May 1st here in the DreamX space. I've got Marigold Kitchen catering breakfast, Twin and Olive on site providing complimentary headshots to folks. Crescendo is bringing their machines of cold coffee drinks, and then we got a keynote led by Bill. He used to run the innovation team here and is now a national professor. So really meant to be a wonderful event geared towards entrepreneurs both from a professional development standpoint. Who doesn't love a good headshot? Right? Doing phenomenal work. So I'd love for you all to register kind of the back of the QR code. It's real easy. Go ahead and take a picture of that. And then when you register, there's actually an optional directory that built in. So folks have an option to opt into the directory. I know that events can be inundating for some folks. I can't tell if I've got some golden retriever energy. I don't trouble with the networking stuff, but I know that it can be hard to, chat with all the folks. So the directory is just a great resource to share with folks who attend the event and connect with folks who may not have had an opportunity to chat firsthand. So this is just an example of one of our in-person events. We're trying to have more larger scale quarterly in-person activations. Our content is posted, our content calendar is posted online, so campaign.com/Dreambank to get a good idea of what other events we have coming up in the pipeline, and happy to answer any questions that you may have.
Thank you, Andy. We'd also like to give a big thank you to Serendipity Labs for an amazing talk for us in our happy hour at the beginning of the month there, if you were able to attend. Do we have someone here from Serendipity Labs today? I don't think so. Well, you should check them out. They're a really amazing co-working space. They have a great space for hosting meetings and events as well. And I'm so excited to introduce today's speaker, Eagan Heath. He is a well-known and loved SMB speaker, and we're glad to have him back today talking about how to make AI do actual marketing work for you. So let's give it up for Eagan.
Hey, thanks so much. Thanks for having me back. You guys hear me okay? Yeah.
Yep.
All right. Good. It's good to be here. Yeah. We're talking about how to make AI do actual marketing work for you. Are you guys already using AI for your marketing? Yes. I see a couple thumbs, a couple nods. You might not tried it yet. All right. I'm going to assume you're doing some. I'll try to go beyond basics today. So give me a lever long enough. Fulcrum, which to place it, and I shall move the world. Supposedly so said our communities. And that's the idea behind this. I think and I'll just tell a quick story. After my 40th birthday party, we did a boat cruise out on the Benelux cruise out on the lake, and it was awesome. And the next day, we're going for a brunch with old college friends and things like that. And I was totally shocked to hear old college friends who were kind of in education, academia, nonprofits be totally anti. They had nothing positive to say about it. And I was totally blown away by that. And so I think that maybe like I'm in the bubble of excitement about it, and maybe you're reading both sides too, but without trying to hype anything, I'm in favor. And so I think that will come through today, and hopefully you'll see things that are beyond the hype that are actual, things that can help you in your work. So in business, we talk about leverage, particularly in entrepreneurship. And the idea is, how do we do one thing that has ripple results, that moves a lot on the other side of the floor, on the other side of that seesaw, right? So Naval Ravikant is a great entrepreneur and investor, and he talks about the sources of leverage. So these images are from ChatGPT today, but the ideas here on this one are from Naval. So oftentimes, I've had a business now for going on 9 years, and oftentimes people will ask you, how many employees do you have? And part of the reason they ask that is they're thinking, more employees is a bigger business. You're doing more, right? You've got more workers, basically. And for a long time, throughout most of history, that was probably true, right? It took a lot of people to build the pyramids, took a lot of people to build our country. It takes a lot of people to do physical work, right? Makes sense. So there's kind of the foreman or the manager, the owner on top, all these workers doing the work, right? He talks about another form of leverage, which is debt. And this is a bit of an aside, but there's kind of a whole world of people, maybe there's some in here where you're just you're really into real estate. You think real estate is an awesome investment. And so there's people are living in world of stocks and bonds and things over here, and you're just real estate, this is it. And there was a big analysis by this basically Yale finance professor who just said, where do the gains come from in real estate? And it turns out they come from debt. If you held everything else constant, if there was no mortgage interest deduction, on and on and on, it's property and things, they hold their value, But a lot of it is you're using mortgage, you're using leverage, you're borrowing money, and then you're paying down that and building your equity as the debt goes down. So that's another form of it, okay? How about media? If you make a show, if Oprah records an episode, does it create more work for her if 100 people see it? If 1,000 people see it? 100,000, a million? It's like you can keep adding zeros. You can add tens, hundreds. You can add orders of magnitude. But however much work it took to film that episode was the same amount of work. Make sense? That's part of scale too, which is related to leverage. And then the more recent one that we're used to is there's sort of been a feeling of, if I want to make six figures, like I need to be technical. I need to at least be a data analyst, and maybe I need to be a programmer. At least I feel like that's kind of been the talk for the last 10, 15, 20 years, right? And part of the reason that is valuable is you're putting in your time, right? So it's like they're still paying you hourly salary, whatever it is. But then that work you did in programming or analysis or setting up some automation, it could be robotics too, that then continues to do work, right? It's creating value either way. So these are the four sources of leverage. And so why we are here as marketers and at Social Media Breakfast is there has been a great democratization of the media one. So we might not be Oprah, but we have this opportunity to create videos, create posts, create blog posts, create email, etc., where as marketers, we do one thing, right? We create that post, we create that video, we create, whatever it is we create, and it can go one to many. So if you're doing well in your career, right? If you're making above median, above average income, it's likely because of this piece of you can sit down, you can focus, you work with a team, you do work, and you put it out, and it goes one to many. Versus folks in the sales department, they may have to meet prospects one-to-one. They got to sell one at a time. That's valuable too, because it's bringing in revenue, right? And so they may be paid on commission. They may make more than us as marketers, right? But that's because they're bringing in the revenue, and we've got to work together. We go one to many to bring in leads, and then sales closes the leads. With me so far? What's exciting, the reason I am pro AI, whereas all my college friends are apparently anti-AI, one is I'm in the private sector. So that's a big difference. Two, related to that, change is good. Like, this is going to give us more leverage. So anybody in here, you've been able to create content and so on, pieces of marketing that go one to many. But now I'm suggesting we can also have, as marketers, we can have potential automation. And automation is like having digital workers. Make sense? So our leverage has been, we're basically like a form of communications. We're like a form of media. We were adjacent to Oprah, right? But now we're also adjacent to, say, Carnegie, or we're adjacent to Bill Gates, right? So when you think of some of the wealthiest people in the world, they have multiple forms of these leverage, and they're combining them and multiplying them. And when I talk to my friends at the education nonprofit, there's like, lots of these billionaires, how do they get so much money? This is part of the answer, and these aren't additive, these are multiplicative. So if you own a big software business, like you have employees, and then the employees are making code. So that's not even 1 + 1, it's like you're multiplying. I used to work at Epic, and Judy would say, we are a software factory. Make sense? So this is where value, this is where wealth comes from. You don't have to necessarily aspire to be a billionaire, but I do want you to think about how do you create more value with the time you put in. Sound good? Anybody read Seth Godin? Yeah. So even if you are not an entrepreneur, think of yourself as an intrapreneur. You're innovating, you're creating value in your organization, and you may move organizations. You may work somewhere else in the future, right? But the way that you're going to keep your work as AI does more and more, because that's part of the fear, right, is working with AI, getting more value, becoming indispensable. Seth Godin says, are you the linchpin in your organization? Are you indispensable? As AI is able to do more and more, what is your value? Well, I'm suggesting your value is you're going to be connecting the systems, working with AI, and putting value on this. So that's some philosophical context. Let's get specific. Sound good? What if we do the following? delegate customer persona, keyword, audience research, the sort of things we need to do when we get started. So I own a marketing agency. I market for our clients, right? But you may be an in-house marketer. You may have your own brand. These are all pieces to do up front. What about creating ad campaigns? This is a big piece of what we do. Obviously, ChatGPT, other LLMs, Claude, Gemini, all good at creating content too. How about analyzing our campaigns, analyze and optimize them? I suggest categorizing and responding to inbound messages. We'll talk about that at the end. And there's entire parts of what you do right now. And I don't want you to hang on to them over here like, this is my job, this is my value. I don't want AI to do it. I don't want anyone else to do it. Rather, you create more value by handing that to the machine and looking over here and saying, what else can we give to the machine? So that's it. Here's me. I'm a partner at Asymmetric Marketing. This is my 9th year being part owner of a digital marketing business. So SMBMadison in the past, and I basically combined with a business partner named Mark Hope. We've got a team of over 16 full-time digital marketers all over the globe. We focus on measurable results. So we're doing direct response, we're doing SEO, websites, PPC, Google Ads, paid social, email marketing, and my partner is also versed in offline too. So we'll do some postcards, we'll consult on billboards, we'll talk about other things too. But basically, we start with strategy and then we implement for our clients. So you'll see some examples kind of what we're talking about. So how do we delegate? I mentioned we've got 16 full-time team members. We got a lot of people doing a lot of things, and we've got to make sure they know what they're doing, right? So when you delegate to people, or increasingly as you delegate to AI, here's some information to include, right? So when we delegate, we want to think about, obviously, the role that we're delegating to, the skills that person needs, or potentially that AI system needs, right? How about what we're trying to do? Always a good thing to say. What is this task? Who has a project management system? You might use Trello, ClickUp, Asana, Basecamp, etc. Those are good places to kind of keep track of. We've got projects, right? And inside of Trello or wherever we're tracking it, we may have owner. And it's a good thing to say the task. What are we trying to do? And a pro tip from David Allen, getting things done methodology, BTD, is start every one of those with a verb. It's an active verb. We're going to research. We're going to design. We're going to write. We're going to edit. Because when you go to do work, or when your team goes to do work, we shouldn't have to think, what is this? It just says website, not enough information. Even if it says new website for next client, what's the next step? What do I do? And then break that down inside. Second sentence, start with why. I agree. People will be more, people who work with it will be more engaged on why are we doing what we're doing? How does this fit into the bigger picture? There are many other business things that we're talking about. We specialize in this, we hyper specialize as we go into post-industrial information economy and beyond. We're touching these tiny little widgets and handing them off, and we don't feel part of the broader value creation. So when we started why, people understand why do we need to do this, right? And even as we delegate to AI, it puts it in a product context and helps it, whether it's an employee or AI, helps you make better decisions. Because whoever doing that work understands why we're doing it. What does it done look like? How do we know this task for this project is completed? The website is up, the email is sent, the social media ad is launched, right? What format is that going to be in? This is going to be particularly important as we work with AI, right? Completion criteria, all this is out, boom, boom, boom. These are falsifiable things. They're either done or they're not. Maybe they're done by a certain date, maybe we have a certain number, whatever it is. It's falsifiable. It's kind of a pro tip too in personal goal setting, business goal setting, whatever it is. We kind of want to be big and abstract. Let's throw a little bit this year. It's like it's better to just make it smartable, make it falsifiable, because then you know if you're on track or not. Okay, great. To give an example, here's an ad campaign we said before. Here's what it looked like. This is the sort of thing you're trying to do. Always does, right? I like to throw this one in. What do we want to avoid? What do we not want? I'm handing you this project. I'm going to come back and check a week. What's that going to look like, right? Here's some things I don't want to have. Here's some nightmare scenarios. Inputs obviously are important. That could be context. That could be content that you can plug in. And increasingly, that's going to be data. So I do a lot of SEO and PPC. You may work more with social media or email or other pieces, but I'm just trying to, I'll try to give you examples on, we're going to feed in data that's going to help us with the analysis. And then be ready to give specific feedback. So whether you're working with a person or whether you're working with an LLM or another form of AI, don't assume you've done all the above. I can walk away, it's going to be done, I never need to look at it again. It's pretty normal that you've got to say, do more, do more, do more. Did anybody ever read the Walter Isaacson biography of Steve Jobs? Remember that one? And Steve up front was like this. So I've listened to, I should say, that book a couple times over the years. And the first time I heard it, I was an employee. I had not started a company yet. And I was really puzzled by what was the value that Steve Jobs added. And Steve Jobs and Bill Gates were kind of frenemies over the years, as you can imagine, right? And Bill Gates understood what he was doing, right? He and Paul Allen could write software. They could go down and do the programming, right? But Steve Jobs had Steve Wozniak, and Steve Wozniak was the one designing the Apple computers. What did Steve Jobs do? He wasn't an engineer. And so what you hear about a lot in the book is he's giving feedback. And of course, he was quite brutal, and he was known as quite a jerk, and he could really tear people down. It was pretty normal that he made employees cry. So that's not what I'm suggesting you do. But now that I have been a business owner and I go back and revisit that book, I understand he's sending things back and saying, make it better. And when you check out biographies of great entrepreneurs, Walt Disney, a lot of what Walt Disney did is that go back and he said, plus this. Right? Snow White's got to look at like, this is going to be our first animated picture ever. Like, it's got to snap, right? So go back and make it better. And there is value in that. Yeah.
You share these slides?
Absolutely. Slides are going to be shared. We have access to them. Thanks for asking. All right, I'm going to keep fluent. So roles and skills needed. Here's an example. This is for my agency. I'm prompting ChatGPT or some other LLM, right? It could be Gemini, Cloud, or just Copilot. You're a B2B marketing expert. That's who you are, ChatGPT or LLM. What we're trying to do, we want to create a customer persona or an avatar for our marketing agents. Why? Because we want to have someone specific in mind when we create our marketing strategy and our campaigns. What does that look like? Well, here's the format. Here are the criteria. We want a specific name, image, industry, organization, job role, title, age, pain points, etc. Here's some examples of the previous ones we've done in the past. Who has uploaded documents into the LLM to give it context? Have you guys done that? You may have to have a pro version. So I'm on the $20 a month for it. Well worth it, right? So here's an example. What do we want to avoid? I don't want anything that's too general or it's not our target market. Here are the inputs. We provide marketing strategy, digital marketing services. Websites, PPC, SEO, social media marketing. We're local services, B2B e-commerce in this revenue range. Sometimes we are the marketing department, sometimes we provide strategy implementation or with directors marketing. Give it some context, right? Give the person some context. Doesn't matter who you're delegating to. Here's some content. Check out our website. Here's some attached documents about us. Oh, by the way, here's some keyword research I pulled. So notice a couple different things. When you're in Google Docs, so we're in the Google universe, you can be in Microsoft too, that's fine. You can just say file, download, and your Google Doc, you can make it a PDF. And you can just feed that PDF to ChatGPT. Or you can say, make it a read document or give anybody read-only access. You give it the link, you should be able to get it to. Let me know what else you need to complete this. That's okay, we'll talk about how to do even better. Sometimes you say, before you say go, get started, it's like, what else do you need? So here we go. Put her in ChatGPT. Here's what we get back. Customer avatar, marketing Mary. Name, image. Let me know, I can make an image for you. Nice, thanks. Age, industry, yada, goals, pain points, questions, quotes you might hear. I have no idea where I got this. I don't know that. Decision-making triggers. What she's searching, why she chooses you. Want me to make Google Slides this or PDF? Not too shabby. Here she is, right? Mary Thompson. All right, generates the person. Let's talk about creating presentations. Anybody ever have to create slide decks for your job? Pitching people, presenting results. This I thought was useful. Yeah, great. Let's do PowerPoint actually. It can give you a PowerPoint slide. You can make PowerPoint slides based on an outline. Here's what it looks like. It's not thrilling, it's not stopping any hearts, but it's got the structure, right? There's the goals, there's the pain points. So what you need to do is select a theme, or in our case, I had our designer
use our brand guidelines, use our logo, use our colors. And so I can just import a theme for one of my other presentations where we've already done that. There we go. I'm still not done. I still have to kind of touch up the slides, apply the layout. This is the one I want it to look like. So it's not totally automated yet. Maybe by now it is, right? It's just like these things are getting better and better all the time. Here's option number 2. They're dedicated AI slide builders. Not all playing with them. Feel free to check them out. Let me know if you try one. It's been good. I'm trying to give you ideas of tools you already have. This one I thought was intriguing. You want to feel a little tech, right? Remember the thing about writing code to get leverage? You don't necessarily have to know JavaScript, Python, etc. Write me a Google Apps script. Okay, great. Here we go. Here's how you do it, right? So we need to have a Google Apps script, create a project, blah, blah, blah. Oh, technical department, can you write some code? Actually, ChatGPT's got it. Here's the script. So here's how you do this. This is in Google Slides. This is a presentation on Google Slides right now. You go to extensions, maybe you used add-ons before. By the way, there's all kinds of add-ons to say, go from Google Docs to Google Slides. There's a lot of different ways to do this. But let's say we're fancy. Let's go to extensions and app script. It's going to make us connect our Google account, right? We're going to get some errors the first time we do it. So remember the whole thing about feedback. When you're a coder now, suddenly, even though you're not writing the code, you're inputting the code and you're trying to get automation back. Suddenly you're a debugger too. I mentioned I worked at Epic. I was a project manager. I was off travel setting the software, right? But back at Epic and Corona, you got people creating the code, and there's a whole other department called QA, where they just have to test and find bugs and fix things, right? So as soon as you're into programming, you're into debugging and QA. Sorry to let you know. This is kind of a process, so that's why I gave option 1. Just give me a PowerPoint. I'll convert the PowerPoint to Google Slides, and then I'll update the theme. Feel free to do that. It's just as good, if not better. If you like to feel fancy, you can go back and forth, and it actually imports right into Google Slides. So there you go. Follow the same process. We need a theme, etc., etc. The word in marketing is pretty normal. We need to make slide decks. Anybody working an office job, this is normal. Don't just get the outline, fine, go copy and paste, but can we get it in there? Here we go. How does this look? Now we got marketing Mary Thompson. Also got a better picture because she was a little weird in the first one. Right? Here's the goals. Here's the pain points. Here's some quotes you might hear. Decision-making triggers. Are you doing this when you do marketing? If you do this at the beginning of your, it's a good exercise. Any marketing strategy, any campaign you're doing, who are we marketing to? Also, what are we marketing, right? What do you guys think? Not usual, but I think so. I'm going to keep this. Let's talk about planning channels and campaigns. Feel free to interrupt with questions too. Still going on the same chat. It's got better memory. Josh, we're talking about this. What are the top 3 marketing channels we should use to reach Mary? Marketing Mary. Boom, here you go. LinkedIn ads, organic content, pretty good. Personally, you guys are social media writers. What do you think about you post to the company page versus you as an individual? Which one's better? Individual. I think so too. So I have a little feedback. It's saying post as your company. That's fine. I don't understand how anyone's going to see that. But not bad. B2B, we're going to find marketing Mary on LinkedIn. Not a bad idea. How about email marketing? Inbound and outbound. Let's have a lead magnet. How about a free guide? B2B marketing strategy playbook for industrial brands. What about outbound? Maybe do some cold outreach. And I didn't even get into that in this presentation, but there's instantly.ai, which is an AI tool that does cold email outreach. So there's specific niche things that can do this. How about Google search and display? Hey man, this is my work. This is what I know. Let's set up some Google search ads. Let's have some display ads running. Maybe those display ads can point to our lead bag and bring people over. Great. We're getting to the beginnings of the strategy, campaign, and plan, right? How about writing and grading the ads? Who's done this already? How is it? Not quite as good as you do, not as bad as the new person. Yeah. And again, give it some sense. Please write LinkedIn ad headlines and copy using professional but punchy direct response copywriting. Observe all character elements, recommend what I should use for images or videos. Okay, sounds good. Here you go. Here's the character elements. Here's the headlines. We've got headline, intros, call to actions. Here's a couple more for lead magnet, testimonial, video, direct call to action. Not too shabby. You can do worse, right? Okay, so it's even got specific case studies with numbers, so, don't make those up, but plug in real numbers, okay? I love this, let's keep going. Let's do the one thing, make a landing page, how about a script of the ad, how about some images? Yes, please, right? Not too shabby, let's go with the images, follow the LinkedIn requirements. Now, do you remember when ChatGPT couldn't do words? This is incredible. Like, again, I don't know if this is gonna stop your thumb if you're strong with LinkedIn, but like, for just like a couple seconds, there you go. It's not bad. Like, it looks good and the words actually make sense. The only thing I don't understand is what, we go January, February, March, April, May, June, September, September. Like, what happened to July, my birthday month? But not bad, right? Like, you could run this or you could do something like it. This one I thought was great. B2B marketing strategy playbook for industrial brands. Again, we're missing July, like that's my birthday.
Maybe it's intentional to get engagement, because those people are gonna love it.
Oh,
Just raise it up, raise it up.
oh, this is good. You include a little layer in there. This is great. Is your digital marketing delivering results? What do you think? Again, numbers just pull out of thin air. Somebody don't do that. Why most B2B agencies waste their marketing budget? Okay. Are you guys ready for my favorite? Marketing married. You need a partner who can deliver results? Call me, baby. Just speak directly to your customer persona. Somebody learn.
You only need one, man.
That's right. You only need one good client. One good client. Okay. So obviously, we know how to run LinkedIn ads. We can just base it over, maybe don't make up the numbers on hand, etc. Can we get an import file? Who's imported ads before? Who's done this? Ooh, Josh, not you? All right.
I'm all about manual.
All right. There's a time and place for both. So this is a simplified version of when we delegate. What we're trying to do, why, what does done look like, what we want to avoid, and then the inputs that whoever or whatever is going to be completed, right? Here we go. Can you create a fully functional LinkedIn ads import file? I'd like to put these directly in using the bulk editor. Here's some templates to export your campaigns. Please observe all the required fields, check out these articles. What we want to avoid, I don't want to go back and forth more than 3 times, troubleshooting errors. Here we go, this is better. List 3 things that will increase our odds of success. So not just let me know if you need anything else, but like what specifically would be better? Well, you've got some UTF and coding issues, exact match column headers, something. It seems to, this is not his first rodeo, I've never done this before, but it seems pretty good. Next step, on me, thanks ChatGPT. By the way, we'll have a backup too. Got a plan B. For full compatibility, we're going to import the group name, campaign name, ad group, etc. Here we go. Gives you the CSV. You can obviously open that in Excel. Your sheet, sorry, you can stand up here so I can be visible. Not too shabby. No one's imported, and there's probably a reason you've never done this. It can be a pain. So the very first time you do this, it's not going to save you any time. And the second time you do this, it's not going to save you any time. Third, fourth, fifth time, it's going to tie for how long would it take you just a second. Someday, this might save you time. Or feel free to just copy and paste. I just like to try to be fast. You go to LinkedIn, you're going where you create your ads. Here we go, it's all looking so good. I already did some errors back and forth. Oh, it doesn't like that format on dates. I never got this one. But when you get errors, you just give it right back to ChatGPT, it goes blah, 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 and you keep on trying. Sometimes you get through, and then when you get to the other side, you've got a template. Better yet, word of the wise, export your campaigns so you can see what a sheet looks like and what the options are. And in this case, LinkedIn tells you, here's the required ones, and by the way, here's the options. So get yourself a template. Oftentimes I'm grabbing ChatGPT's import template, and then I'm pasting it into my own based on what I know the required fields are. So still not perfect, but sometimes when you have a lot of campaigns to create, this can speed you up. Not the first time, not the second time, but if you run a lot of ads, this could be worth looking at. Meta ads have the same. I have not tried this one yet, so I can't speak to it. Stay tuned. But if you're wondering where the heck that is, you go in Ads Manager, you go More, import ads in bulk. And notice you can export ads, always a good idea. Get the template or whatever, have ChatGPT work with that. But even better is show me what actual export looks like. When this works, it is awesome. Same site step. Who has a lot of meetings in their work? All you do is on your hands up, I want your job.
Yeah.
I have meetings all day today, even after this. You have next steps that come out of your meetings. When do you do those? When do you make note that you have to go do those? You ever run from meeting to meeting like I'm gonna do today and totally distracted what you said you were gonna do? Who's using AI note takers? Here, what's using them?
Fireflies.
Fireflies is good.
I get an email after the meeting and it tells me everything that just went down and action steps.
Action steps. What else we got? What else do you use on?
I don't use it much for read.ai. That's
Read.ai, sit down, come in, yeah,
It's Fireflies.
Fireflies, all right. My partner and I, Mark, we cannot speak highly enough about that. We are spending so much money on software, and we'll go through the list, and we'll be like, we will close the doors to our agency before we stop paying for that. It is so good. So it can join Zoom or Teams or whatever. It takes the AI notes. It's got a transcript if you need it. It grabs the next steps and often who needs to do them. In fact, you even have to do some research on this one. And so we used to spend a lot. We used to have two people would go in a meeting, one takes notes, and then we got to go put that in Trello or ClickUp, right? What did we talk about? What did they say? You can ask Fathom questions. It will give you the answer, what keywords did we talk about, and it'll give you timestamps with links, so go right back to that part of it. So I'm just like mind blown about this. And when you copy the meeting notes, they're all links, and you click the link, and it'll take you right to that part of the meeting to review. Got a few things where team member said something wasn't right, client said something, and then they changed their mind, they act like it didn't. It's all on camera now, man. So one day I said, it all come to email, I was like, every meeting is recorded from now on. And everybody can see everybody else's meeting. So maybe Mark and I might have a few business partner ones that aren't in there, but there's a record of everything we're doing, man. What about those next steps? Who uses Zapier? What does Zapier do? Oh, nobody's using Zapier? We got a few. All right, we got a few. Zapier connects to different tools. Say it's Zapier, Zapier makes you happy. And so APIs are application programming interfaces. They help different tools speak to each other, right? And this is a mostly code-free tool for you to do it. So if you get a new lead coming to your website and that needs to go on the email list or that needs to get sent somewhere, use Zapier to zap the information around. I'm blown away of like clients are coming to us and they're like, I'm like, when the lead comes into WordPress, what do you do? They're like, well, we check it over and then we enter it in our CRM. And I'm just like, what year do you think it is? Put that right in, yeah.
with Fathom, like you said, all your meetings are recorded. Can you search across like everything, or is it like is each meeting individual, or is it like seeing big picture where you can say like, let's look at every conversation we had about this one client over the last 3 months?
Good question. So can we search all Fathom everything, or is it meeting by meeting? Right now it's meeting by meeting. So I copy the summary for each meeting. I still put it in a Google Doc, and that Google Doc has the full record and links to everything. And sometimes I will update said Google Doc to ChatGPT and ask ChatGPT questions. Yeah, so you can do it. Yeah.
So I've used Fireflies, or know people use Fireflies to interview different like sales reps and then create like a knowledge base to then go back to the leader. So does Fathom offer that?
So there's like a knowledge base you create out of it. Yeah, I think it's manual right now. It's not actually, but I'm sure they'll add this, and I couldn't be pumped enough. So Zapier can do a lot of things, guys. Definitely check out anything you got to automate. In this example, what I'm saying, and I did not yet set this up because there's too many asterisks around this, but Fathom has all the next steps out of my meetings. We use a project management system. We now use ClickUp. You could have every action item from your meetings go right into your project management system. Somebody needed to hear that. Somebody else needs to hear that, so tell them. Fair? Keyword research and analysis. This is for SEO and for Google Ads. You're digital marketing, so I'm uploading all this stuff. Remember what I just said? So here's a bunch of Google Sheets. Notice those PDFs. I'm giving them transcripts and the notes from the meetings with the client and any internal ones we have, right? Here's them, this is our client, here's the keyword research data in a CSV and document. Now I'm telling ChatGPT or the LLM, you're a digital marketing and PPC expert. Please help us select and categorize search keywords for this client. They sell hard hats. Here's I'm attaching the keyword research and notes and data about the client. Here's their website too. For each keyword, we want to know whether the search intent matches what they sell and whether it would be a good PPC pick like Google search as keyword. They also want to know, we want to group them together by category so we can create ads and start creating campaigns, right? You have to ask me questions. I'm telling you, here's the columns I want out of the other end. Oh, you did a little bit and then you stopped. Sometimes team members do this too, and I'm like, no, you didn't finish the job, keep going. Nope. Do every lesson keyword in this multi-thousand row spreadsheet. Did I stutter? That's what I'm saying. I say please, I'm nice to my own. You never know, people. Be nice to your all that. Oh, these guys sell hard hats and bump caps. Every single time a keyword contains those words, mark yes, what are you doing? So, is it perfect the first time? No, I went back 4 times on this site. But did we get there? Yeah. Notice. So we can upload CSVs, we can upload spreadsheets. We can tell it to add columns. Did everyone notice now? Did everyone know that before? Add a column and do analysis. Should we target it? Yes, no, maybe. Group it together. What should these go with? Structured hard hats, bump hats, Title 2, chin strap. Put those together so we can start creating Google Ads campaigns. Give me a pivot table so I can see all these. By the way, people Google for cool hard hats and awesome hard hats. So we got them, don't you worry. So here we go. And for SEO, I always say this is like the first thing I do every client. Every business I take on. It's like, do we have a page for everything we target? Here's the stuff we sell. Did we even bother to create a URL for it? Because Google thinks in URLs. And if we're going to run PPC traffic to the website, like we're going to need a page for that. No? So, create those. Did anybody spot the business opportunity in this keyword data? No.
Pink article.
You got it. The client is saying, cowboy, you can't see it. Cowboy hard hat total, $9,900 a month, pink total, not a target. You better believe I lingered on that. So, client says no, but look at this. Pink motorcycle helmet, 4,400 people a month in the United States want a pink motorcycle helmet. What about a construction hat? 2,400 a month. What about a cowboy one? Who saw that one? 9,900 searches a month on Google for a cowboy safety hat or a cowboy hard hat. Nothing devastates me more than that column that says target keyword no. It was time to move on. I was like, now client, are you sure we don't want to? Some people want to do Dallas Cowboys. I understand, we gotta get the license. So I'm putting it out in the universe today. If you want to start a business with me, there's even the pink cowboy hard hat. 90 a month, we could build a business on that. Because I was like, is it a separate website? Do we have one over here where we sell cowboy hard hats and one where we do pink? Well, which site is this one on? Call me. I just need a business partner, folks. Now, who's used Sora? Yeah, you create videos. So I was pumped. I was like, I know in my $20 a month plan, I only get so many video credits. But if there was ever a moment, here it is. Oh, video generation temporary disabled for human accounts. So I wanted to show you the ad. I can't today, but when I had it, I'll show you. And if you want to go in business, sell pink cowboy hard hats, here you go. All right, back to spreadsheets. Remember, you're an SEO PPC expert. You want to map them, keywords to landing pages. I want to make sure we've got pages for these, because in many cases we're missing them. If any are missing, call it out. Here we go. We're going to stitch some data together. Screaming Frog SEO, what does that one do? You want to use that? It'll crawl your site and give you a map of all the pages you have. Here's a map of my site. Google Search Console, what does that advocate? What is that?
How people are getting your site.
This is SEO data, right? And then here's the keyword data too, right? We're going to add a column. assess whether it exists or needs to be created, specify what the page should be. Note, some target keywords don't have pages yet, some pages aren't SEO pages, that's fine. Tell me what else you need to achieve this. Here we go. This would take a while. We've got 3 different spreadsheets and we've stitched them together. And now I've got, does the page exist? Yes, no. What is the keyword? How many times per month does Google Ads think we have on? Like, what's the search volume? And by the way, throw in the SEO title in the description from the sitemap crawl, put all that together. And I can even say, give me the historical data from Google Search Console. So we got 3 spreadsheets stitched together, and I can look at it and say, we're missing here, here, here. You want to improve your SEO? This is what you're missing out. Make sense? Serious data analysis, no? It's not just one spreadsheet at a time. Thanks, Siri. Creating Google search ad PPC campaigns. Who runs Google Ads? Anybody? See, all right. Some of this can apply to meta ads too, so you're doing that. Instead of using that bulk import like we saw with LinkedIn or meta ads, Google Ads has its own editor. It's just a separate application you can run. I've got a blog post about this on asymmetric.pro, our website. Want to check it out? Here we go. I got the PDF how we do this from last time. It's another thing we'll talk about. Once you've gone through a whole process, say ChatGPT or LLM, give me instructions so this goes faster next time. What do you need next time if you just get this? So here's the keywords. Here's an import file. You're a PPC expert. We're going to create the import files. What it ends up doing, we have to do what I learned through much iteration. It's not the AI's fault. It's all these editors. It's just like, they're janky. Right? When you go in the browser and you create an ad, it's like, it's only letting you fill out the fields the way that they're able to fill out, right? Your drop downs, things like that. When you do an import, you're sending in all this data and it may not map up, and that's where the errors come from. So you can do campaign and ad group, and we got campaign, ad group, and keywords. And then down here, we've got the actual ads. This is brilliant. First time I did this, way slower than if I just built the campaigns. Second time, third time, now it's like, we need to create campaigns, blah. I've got the keyword research done, everything categorized, the ads written, and they're in the account in an hour or 2. It just takes days, weeks to have the team do it. Don't talk about it. Once the ads are running, we then have to see how they're doing. So, translate this to your world. I'll try to answer questions too. Again, you've got particular cases you're wondering about. But in our case, Google made a change recently. So if your organization or anyone you work with runs Google Ads, you need to know this. It used to be there was broad match and a phrase match and exact match. So if I wanted to target SEO for B2B companies and I put that in quotes, right? My ad would only show up if someone's Google query contained that phrase. Maybe there's words on the other side, but nothing. So I had more control. In the last year or 2, Google just like threw that out the window. And so if you're running ads, even at a 2 out of 3 on how strict is keyword matching, you're paying for all kinds of junk. And so I'm getting calls every single week and people are like, our Google ads just stopped working. We don't know what's going on. What's going on is Google thinks they're smarter and they're not, at least in this way, right? And so every PPC account we're running, we're spending hours and hours and days going through reviewing keywords and adding negative keywords. Total pain in the butt. Good use for AI? Let's see. Here you go, AI. You're a PPC expert. Review and analyze these search terms. Here's some other info. Add one column at the beginning. Add negative keyword. Yes, no, maybe. We don't want them paying for irrelevant clicks. We don't want them to pay for their brand name or for competitors. Add a second column, negative keywords to add. So there's this whole thing of, even when you add your negative keywords, it goes that specific thing. So if someone says XYZ marketing company and I showed up for theirs and we just add it as a negative, it only does, so it does the opposite problem. It goes so exact on the negative keyword that that's never going to happen again and that didn't actually save me money. So I need to generalize and say, if it's XYZ B2B marketing company that I compete with, we just need to add the XYZ part, the pertinent part of it, do some analysis, which normally a human brain would have to do up until probably this year, right? And give me the core piece of it so that we never pay for junk clicks again. Here's an example. right? So for AlphaJet printer for this client, don't give me printer because we're advertising printers. Take AlphaJet out of there. So give it an example. And then a third column, give me an explanation. So yes, no, what's the altered one? How come you did this? Looks good. Feedback. Here we go. Here's some examples I found. Sony, Domino, Coding Machine. Like these are all clearly brands or models of specific printers, not what we want to run up against. This is the problem for each of these. This is why these don't work. Now, whether this is a team member or an AI person, I want you to go back to the 1,500 keywords you went through for the last month, search terms, and apply the same logic to other cases. Remember the like critical thinking part of school, like you had to like apply what we learned? It's gotta happen. So who's ever doing it, person or machine, has gotta do it. Okay, folks, we're on the last part. You ready? This is like, I'm trying to give us some picture of leading edge and also the near future. So a lot of what I'm describing will get easier soon. Like it's the hardest it's ever going to be, but it's still pretty darn good compared to what we were doing 5-10 years ago, right? You game? Then you can ask, like, you've got situations, you're on your model software. So, remember Zapier? So you get a WordPress lead, you can send it to your CRM, right? You have a next step from your AI reporter, you can send it right to your project management system. In this case, I get inundated with messages every single day. I get email and LinkedIn and all the stuff that I just can't keep up, right? And so we're going to connect Gmail. We're going to classify the text using an LLM, and then we're going to label it in Gmail. So when this is Zapier. So when I open my email, I want to know, is this an automated thing? Is it marketing? Is it from a client? Is it from my team? Or is it a full email? Because I'm going to categorize this different. Whoever came up with email, man, you know, it was a leap ahead of its time, and now it's just like inundation of everything. All right, so there's only certain things I need to know. Here we go. You are a helpful assistant that can categorize in one of these categories. Pick one, and plug it back in so I can see the labels quickly inside Gmail. No sooner had I done this than I used the email client I use, Superhuman, which I pay $30 a month for. Now it does this. So many of the tools we're using are going to get better and better as they evolve, as they implement AI. And Andy asked me, hey, did you see my email? And I realized, no, I didn't. Just today, I looked at it, it's like, whoops, you got marked as a full pitch. So don't forget to have beta mode and go through and look, did I miss any emails I should have seen? Don't skip that part. Quickly, on again, talking blogging, SEO, right? How do we rank higher once we know? So remember, we did keyword to page map. Now I've got a page for this phrase. Say it's the phases of SEO. Then I can use SEO server, and it's like Yoast SEO on steroids. It's just like, it looks at everything else on page one of Google and says, you ain't got this, you ain't got this, you ain't got this. This needs to be 2,500 words long, and you've got to include all this. And it'll give you a score. This was at 37 before I used it, right? So right inside the tool, you want to make this page better, you want to make this blog post better? Here we go. Reporting. Ready? Who's got to do some reporting based on data of other candidates, what they're doing? Good. If you're not, I'm confused what you're doing. That's just me. So Google Looker Studio is slick. I can pull it up and show it if you want, but it can Google to Google pretty good. Google to Google good. Fair? So Google Analytics 4, Google Ads, Google Search Console, which is SEO data, can all go right in, and I can just show the client and say, here's how you're doing. No problems. Right? We set up conversion tracking. Here's how many leads your sales you got. Here's the cost per. Exactly what they want to see, how much detail, I build it out. But what if we are running meta ads, LinkedIn ads, Bing ads, something else? Not in there. Maybe you can say email marketing, right? Well, there is this workaround. You can export the data, put it in Google Sheets, and then Google Looker Studio your dashboard. This is like the equivalent to, what was it? Data visualizer, what's the Microsoft? Visual Basic Studio is that. There's like these premium business analyst tools that cost just a fortune, and Looker Studio is free. So I've got a course on this if you're interested. Okay. So all of this, you just build business intelligence tools like this. And the issue before was Anything that's not Google, I can export it to Google Sheets and I can point the dashboard at it, but it's not dynamic. So a client looks at it on the 15th, I use it first, it's outdated, doesn't have everything up to date. What about now? There's another one, who's heard of make.com? You want to keep building your career, you want to like keep becoming more and more valuable? Check out this one. Same idea as Zapier. You connect your tools, connect Google Ads, pull it right into Google Sheets. You do it with Facebook, you do it with anything else, right? Basically, that whole piece about APIs, how we used to have to send that to some technical developer, make these two apps talk. Zapier and make.com is how you do this. And you can keep on adding steps. So you can say, we got the Google Ads report, ChatGPT, analyze the Google Ads report like I showed, right? Send an email based on your analysis to my boss, to me, to the client. So don't just give me data, give me insights and send it out. You can build these as long as you want. So everything we talked about today is, obviously, it can help us rank. It can generate images. If we were paying $200 a month, we could get video, which is pretty clutch, right? Now we see we can even import those. We can do data analysis, right? We can give it a sheet and say, analyze this thing, add columns, and tell me what you did. I'll filter and see what you did, right? But even beyond that level is, okay, I gotta do this for all my clients, I gotta do this every month. Automate it and build it out like this. So step by step by step. And you don't have to know JavaScript or Python anymore. It's like, you just have to, like, you can program using what you see is what you get. So here's your leverage. This is you can make media, right? You can make communications. And now you see, you can make code, like, it's prose program. That's what it is, right? If you need to write actual code, have the LLM do that. And those little automations, those are your employees. That's your value. That's how you're going to make more money. That's how you're going to keep your job, your career in this new economy. Questions, comments?
Here, I've got a microphone.
I can do a simple search for prompts. Is there a reliable resource that I could search for ideal prompts that would be like a more trusted one than just a single Google search?
I see, yeah. What's a good source of prompts? Is that right? That would find good ones. So there are entrepreneurs working on this. There's YouTubers, there's people that specifically do that piece. And you get on their email list or their private community, and they'll have spreadsheets of hundreds. So that's an option. Also, when you are in ChatGPT, you probably see there's GPTs within it, and other people have tried making them too. So you can explore those as well. I don't think anything compares to it. You try it yourself. That format I gave of, here's who you are, here's your expertise, here's what we're doing, here's why, here's what done looks like, and avoid all this stuff. That's what they do. So whatever your use case is, if you're plugging all it in and you iterate a couple times, and you ask it at the end, write the instructions so this goes better next time, you've made your own GPT. So there are plenty to look at, there's lots to explore, but whatever your use case is, there's no substitute for experimentation. Yeah.
Going back to what you're talking about, the marketing, market Mary. I've done that a handful of times, and I love AI and I use it, but I also have this this distrust of it, to where kind of that whole section that you're talking about hinges on all of that data being correct about Mary. And I guess maybe it's a me thing. I'm assuming that it spits out all this information, and I go, okay, what is that based on? Is it just giving me crap because it just wants to complete the task, or what actually sources of the pulling from? That's kind of my, maybe it's a me thing, I just need to go.
Yeah, great question. And I didn't say that enough today. Hopefully you got it on the spreadsheet, see this back and forth, but we're reviewing everything. Whether it wrote a blog post or an email for you, or it did it says, it still needs human review, and by the way, that's part of your value right now, right? You override that. When you create a customer persona, I don't know that you can do that wrong, but you can do it better and better, right? And so one of the things I uploaded when I did that is, here's our client list, here's their websites, here's who we work with right now, the types of businesses they are. And so if you already work with clients and you know what your ideal clients are, you know that, so use that to guide it, whether you're writing your customer persona yourself or you're guiding AI, that's all context with the feed in. and then certainly feedback and validate. Yeah, question.
When you have all these different clients and different campaigns, within your ChatGPT or whatever else, the other tools you're using, how are you keeping them separate so that information, is it just enough to have it in the different searches? To not have information from one area, get confused with something in another? Is it keeping it separate for you, or are you feeling like it in some way informs itself?
Yeah, good question. Are you worried it's gonna mix up different clients?
Yeah, like if you are doing something that is a completely unrelated topic.
Yeah, so I would say each client is its own chat. Sometimes I'm doing landing pages and ads and SEO, maybe I can do it on that, but I kind of like the running content. It's getting better all the time, so I like reference. You can create projects, you can create folders. I'm grateful for even just the search has gotten much better. And so you can, I think you can rename what those chats are called to, so that is something to think about. We do have a team ChatGPT, and so everybody's using that, and so at some point, maybe folders do make sense, but I'm always a search over a folder guy.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you found that they're not overlapping, or it's not pulling from one and saying, well, you worked on this on something else, and it's not. You haven't seen that in any of your work.
If anything, I would say I want more of that.
Okay.
I don't want it to mix client data together,
Right.
but I've already given this instruction on how to do search term reviews and negative keywords. I would like it to remember that piece. That's why I'm like kind of keeping the prompts and plugging those in. I have a little doc folder of those, right? But like to me, it's like that's what I need to do. The only time I've seen the client data commingled is I was doing it all in one chat. I've never seen a reference on it.
Yeah, I guess I'm thinking like, if I'm using the same account and I run two completely separate topical businesses,
Yeah.
and I'll experiment with it.
Yeah, and I'm thinking, search how do we retrieve, you can do that.
Yeah.
Like your concern is it getting all mixed up, right?
Yeah.
I have not seen it mixed
Okay.
up.
Just to add to that,
Yeah,
recently, I mean, like within a week or two, I got a pop-up using the $20 version of ChatGPT saying, hey, I can now search across your chats. So if anything, it's about to become, or it is becoming an issue. It wasn't before, I had the opposite problem. I would have multiple chats, and it's like, dang it, I got the great stuff in that chat. I want to be able to see it all. I would be careful now, they're getting smarter, and you've got to be explicit.
Yeah. I haven't used it for my other business, but I want to try.
thanks, Cal.
Okay, we have time for 2 more short questions.
I just wanted to ask you a question about using AI tools for the output part of your presentation. You talked about using these tools for automating input and then analytics. I really like what you shared. I'm really concerned about the output. As of today, the internet is full of AI generated preachy content, to the point where, if you go to YouTube, you see a lot of videos. For me, just create apathy, at some point it's like the voice is fake, the images are fake, everything is really doesn't look organic, it looks like artificial. So, how do you go about creating this output in a way that is not disengaging or, just create apathy like a lot of the stuff that is out there?
Yeah, that's a big topic, and I don't know if anybody knows the answer to that. I think we continue to evolve. Which part is the human value? So ChatGPT can get you, LLM can get you to maybe 80% is good, right? But if you want to create anything excellent, it's got to be human input. And so in the world of SEO, we're talking about expertise and experience, authority, and trust, as Google talks about. You're putting in real case studies, not plugging in fake numbers. You're talking about actual client stories, you're talking about actual conversations, you're adding your kind of personal touch if you're creating content. So I think that is a piece. At the same time, we play with tools I didn't include today where make this blog post into a 2-way conversation audio podcast. And if you just hear it, you never know it's AI. Yeah. And you're going to be calling in and ordering pizza and like doing whatever you need to do. And you're going to be talking to AI and you're not even going to be able to tell. So part of the issue is I can tell this is AI, this is poorly done, this is version 1.0, but that's going to get better and better. And it's going to continue to evolve. Where do the humans add the value? So I think the solution is not, we work totally without AI, It's like, we use it where appropriate, but we add the value where we can. That's gonna, that line is gonna keep on moving for the rest of our lives.
So how do you navigate, maintaining privacy of your data when you're putting all of these internal conversations on these apps?
Yeah, good question. So there is a checkbox in these, share this for training, yes. So you can turn that off. Do you trust that? Totally fair if you don't, right? But it's like, that's a box too. So I don't go that far, but that's kind of the main option. If you were to say, we're not working with these at all, I don't know where, I want to skate where the puck's going, I don't know what these companies are gonna do with all this. Totally fair, it's just like, that's kind of one of the trade-offs, then you're not gonna be able to do all this.
I work at Madison College and I want to implement all of these things, but in the beginning, we were talking about education being very, these technology and I'm experiencing that.
Yeah.
They're learning from your email as well, like it's all their data, like it's going through their systems, so.
Yeah.
They're in the world of their.
Yeah, it's on the oil, right?
No right answer.
Yeah, I think you may have to educate about, here's the option, here's what they're saying, they don't use it for training data. It's like, we draw something short. Yeah.
One more bonus question. So you're building ChatGPT, are you noticing any other LLMs that are useful, or do they have any other specialization that you would prefer? Like, I use Jasper, for instance, as copywriting very well.
Yeah.
Or Gemini. Cool.
Do you want, any others, who uses Perplexity? So the whole issue of, you write a blog post and ChatGPT hallucinates and it's making up citations. Perplexity actually cites real things. So if you ever need to do research and include that in an article, a case study, a white paper, a blog post, an email, it's like, Perplexity is great for the research piece and getting actual citations. So that's probably my favorite, and then agnostic as I play with Claude and Gemini here.
All right, we're going to have to stop questions there, but you can feel free to write in questions. Eagan's very helpful outside, so I'm sure if you have a question, you can ask it to me either after this or online. We do need to do our drawing for Gilda's Club, but before we do that, let's give it up for Eagan one more time. You can draw for us.
Bias. No bias in this training. Right. See Tiffany Messenger.
And here's your prize. All right, thanks everyone, have a great day.